Welcome to another episode of TV Time Warp, where I dive into the sitcoms that shaped our screens. Yeah, I'm at the airport today. Right, that's real. Today we're taking flight with one of my favorite shows from the 90s, Wings, the high-flying comedy that soared on NBC from 1990 to 97. All right, Nantucket Island, a tiny airport, two brothers running a one-plane airline. That's the premise of Wings, starring Tim Daly and Steven Weber as Joe and Brian Hackett. These guys were kind of like the Wright brothers, if the Wright brothers bickered constantly and had great hair. The show revolved around the wacky happenings at Tom Nevers Field, where the Hackett brothers operated Sandpiper Air. Yeah, it was basically Cheers with propellers, which makes sense since it was created by Cheers alums David Angel, Peter Casey, and David Lee. Now let's talk about our first-class crew. Oh, this show had such a great ensemble cast of characters. There was Crystal Bernard, who played Helen. She was the lunch counter manager with dreams of becoming a cellist. Yeah, a cellist, because nothing says I'm destined for Carnegie Hall quite like having to serve tuna melts to flyboys. There was David Schramm, who played Roy Biggins, owner of the rival airline Aeromass. His business strategy being as lovably grumpy, skeezy, and scammy as possible. You had Rebecca Shull, portrayed Faye, the sharp-tongued ex-stewardess. She could serve you peanuts and a side of sass faster than you could say turbulence. There was Thomas Hayden Church. He played Lowell, the eccentric mechanic. He could fix a plane with duct tape and dreams, and he always had a crazy thought about everything. And, let's not forget Tony Shalhoub. Is that how you say his name? I never know. Anyway, he was Antonio, the Italian cab driver who probably spent more time at the airport than actually driving his cab. And there was also Amy Yazbek, who played Helen's sister Casey. And you had a few others mixed in here and there. It was all good, though. For 8 seasons, Wings kept audiences laughing with its quirky characters and witty writing. It was like Friends, but with more jet fuel and fewer coffee shops, the way it should be. Now, why did Wings finally come in for a landing in 1997? Well, after 172 episodes, even the best engines start to sputter. Yeah, despite its charm and a solid ensemble cast, Wings struggled to maintain the same level of popularity as sitcoms of the era, like Cheers and Friends. While it garnered a loyal fan base, the show never really reached the cultural phenomenon status of its contemporaries. And that's one of those things that's kind of hard to figure out why. I mean, it seemed like it had everything. Ratings were a significant factor in its decline, though. The show was constantly being outperformed by other sitcoms, which meant fewer viewers, of course, and less buzz around it. By the end of its run, it had become more of a filler in NBC's lineup rather than a must-see show. The finale was titled Final Approach. It wrapped up the series nicely with Joe and Helen finally tying the knot, a long-awaited moment for fans who'd followed their on-again, off-again romance relationship. And his brother Brian, he decided to leave Nantucket. However, while the show ended on a high note, it also reflected the fact that the network was ready to move on to new projects that could capture more viewers and their attention. The final ratings were just not enough to justify continuing the series, especially as the network was looking to refresh its lineup with newer, trendier shows. All right. Anyway, now for some turbulent trivia. The show's theme, it was beautiful, right? It was based on Schubert's Piano Sonata in A major. Probably knew that, because nothing says wacky airport sitcom like 19th century classical music. Tim Daly, he later voiced Superman in the animated series. From Small-Time Pilot to Man of Steel. Super. Tony Shalhoub, who I mentioned before and can't pronounce his name, he later starred in Monk. Apparently he traded in his taxi for a detective badge and a severe case of OCD. Wings may have ended its run, but its legacy lives on. It's the show that proved you don't need a big city or a fancy set to create comedy gold. All you need is a tiny airport, a bunch of lovable misfits, and a whole lot of heart. Hey, please like and subscribe. Comment about all that stuff I got wrong, too. And next time you're stuck in an airport, remember Wings. It was good. Thank you.